Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. In this video today, we're going to be discussing, as the title suggests, what can be done, what should one expect if one's being stopped by immigration authorities at an entry point in the United States. For the most part, this is going to pertain basically to non-U.S. citizens traveling into the United States being questioned by officers with United States Customs and Border Protection Service, USCBP. This question actually, I won't say it arises often, but I think it's one that more people should probably pose to themselves when going into the United States, especially those who are on non-immigrant visas such as tourist visas that have kind of muddled intentions as to what they're going to do once they're inside the U.S. Let's start where we need to start, and that is a foreign national travels to the United States. They present their passport along with presumably a relevant travel visa, and the Customs and Border Protection Officer can make a decision as to whether or not to admit the individual, turn the individual away, question the individual further. In the event of being questioned further, generally speaking, this type of questioning is going to occur on the record. It's very much akin to being put on stand in a trial, for example. One will often be told that they are basically answering under oath, and for that reason, one's answers can be used essentially against them. This is the reason why, as a general rule, it is always best to tell the truth when dealing with any tribunal or officer of the U.S. immigration apparatus, be that a U.S. Customs and Border Protection Officer, U.S. ICE officer, U.S. CIS officer, or a consular officer at a U.S. immigration or consulate abroad. But now when getting questioned about what one is doing, nobody is going to be ultra comfortable dealing with authorities generally. It's never a comfortable place to be questioned by officers in a governmental capacity. So don't be upset if you're nervous, but basically the big thing to keep in mind is to tell the truth. With respect to one's travel intentions, be able to concisely explain what one is doing in the United States. If one is coming in on a tourist visa and they're looking to work, they're coming illegally. Don't come at all is the answer to that. You know, this video is not designed to figure out how to cleverly say something to U.S. Customs and Border Protection to get in and fool them or something. No, one should not be traveling the United States in an immigrant or in a visa that one is not within the intended parameters. Okay, one shouldn't be entering the United States in a tourist visa in order to go to work. One shouldn't be entering the United States with a tourist visa in order to get married and remain. That's arguably fraud. It's also grounds for, and this leads me to my next thing with respect to traveling in the United States, it's possibly grounds for expedited removal. Expedited removal is a procedure that was created under the IRA Act. It was created basically in an amendment to the Immigration Act, and basically it allows for sort of a truncated deportation hearing wherein the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Officer can make a determination whether or not this individual should be subject to expedited removal. And in most cases, if they're determined to be subject to expedited removal, they're going to be barred from re-entering the United States for a minimum of 5 years thereafter. And if there's further findings, like fraud, misrepresentation, etc., there could be further grounds of inadmissibility which could lead to a further ban from going in the United States, which could maybe only be remedied through use of what's called an I-601 waiver, an I-212 waiver, etc. These are the kind of things that may be used to remedy these types of things that can occur just in the interview at the point of entry in coming to the United States. These are very much worst case scenarios. In many, many cases, especially involving people coming into the United States on tourist visas without the proper intentions, oftentimes the immigration officers, at least in my experience, will allow the individual to voluntarily depart. Voluntary departure is sort of a no harm, no foul. You didn't get in. We had issues with you at the border. We didn't quite believe what you were saying, and we allowed you to voluntarily depart. In those circumstances, unlike expedited removal, voluntary departure may not and probably won't result in immigration ramifications that have a long-lasting impact. most notably being barred from re-entering the United States. So the thing to take away from this video, first of all, when encountering anyone from the immigration apparatus, tell the truth. Tell them what you're doing. Don't try to lie. Don't try to obfuscate. Don't try to be sneaky. Don't try to be smart in the sense of don't try to be cunning and get around the system. It's not wise. It, generally speaking, in my experience, it only leads to worse consequences. Don't go to the United States on a visa you don't have the proper intentions for. If you're going to the U.S. on a tourist visa, if you're using a tourist visa to go to the United States, and you're going there for the purpose of adjusting status, that's immigration fraud. You're not going in a non-immigrant capacity. You're immigrating. There's a specific section for excluding individuals of that nature. So again, that's another thing to take away from this. Tell the truth, use your visa correctly, and finally, be aware that, the results and consequences of not telling the truth and of using documentation that one is not really meant to be using can result in substantial and rather stiff penalties under the immigration laws.